You are in the right place. Hey, Charles. Hey, Joy. I think there's a little bit of a delay when I start. So I'll be starting and then I'll see your messages coming in. So I'm still trying to figure out the timing using StreamYard, which is the platform we're on. This evening I'm traveling. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year. We hope everything is going well for everybody, that you guys are having a good start to 2020. Can you believe it? 2020. Happy New Year, Charles. Super happy to have you here. Hey there, Joy. Woohoo. Now we're going. Now we're on. Now we're kicking with gas. So we thought we would dive in today, like with a bang, with a new year. We had a lot of new people joining the group. Super exciting. Just organically, people are finding us. So tell your friends if you have writers or readers or people just, we love just interaction in this group. Do want to remind everybody, though, to not post self-promoting things too much. Like, definitely can't sell anything in this group, but it's getting, well, we're going to put up some guidelines for you to make it a little bit easier. So what we'd like this group to be is people asking questions about movies, about their screenplay, getting advice. Certainly if you're trying to work out a character or you're trying to work out something. We have a lot of readers in this group and we are training a lot of readers. And so we train readers how to analyze screenplays. I saw someone post like, is this group for writers? But it's for both. So basically at Hollywood Gatekeepers, we train people that love movies how to become readers. And a reader is someone who analyzes a screenplay. And so like a producer or sometimes an actor or director, whoever, will ask a person, a reader, to read a screenplay for them and then give them notes about what works and doesn't work in the screenplay. So that's what we primarily do. But because of that, we have a lot of writers in here too, which we love. And so, hey there. So you need to click on StreamYard.com if you want your name to show. So I'm going to say, put Joy. Hi, Joy. So people could see. Otherwise, it looks like this to me, so I'm not sure who that is. So just click on StreamYard.com right at the top there, and you should be able to it just gives it permission to use your name. As far as I know, that's all they're doing, and they've been pretty great company, so they seem pretty trustworthy. She says with confidence. So we like to talk about writing a lot because a reader's job primarily is ... You readers out there, a reader's job. I'm just going to let that one sit for a minute. Let y'all comment on it. What are the two things a reader, well, three things, but what are the two main things a reader focuses on? Oh, we'll start out with a quiz. Pop quiz, kids. Pop quiz. So readers focus on two things, and we talk about that a lot in here, and we have a whole course on it. So every single Wednesday here at 5 o'clock, unless we might change times every once in a while, but in general, we're here every single week. We pick a topic, we talk about that topic, but if you have questions, this is a time for you to ask questions, whatever you'd like. And we try to answer any questions that you might have. And then also, sometimes people will suggest topics. More than happy to follow you through if you have a topic that you would like us to discuss. We'll put that in here too. So today, okay. Little Joe Pesci there. I don't know who that was. So it was Joe Pesci. So we study a lot. So when we're teaching readers, so far nobody's answered the question, what are the two things, my lord, what are the two things that readers focus on? Class, Bueller. So we have been talking a lot about how readers actually become, nobody said there'd be a test, man. I'll only wait a little while and then I'll just give it to you because that's the kind of teacher I am. Because in Hollywood Gatekeepers, there's no cheating. Not there's no cheating, but there's no cheating. I don't care how you learn it, as long as you learn it, even if you're cheating. Because, when you get the job, you're going to have to show that you can do it anyway. So just want you to get the information. So readers, thank you, Joy, but that's cheating. I know Joy knows. There, Champion the Writer. Who is that Facebook user? Who is that? Tell me who that is. And you did click for a unit name. Huh. Try again. Shh. Shh. So, yes, Champion the Writer. Help. Joy, can you see if maybe you can help? Or it should give you a little thing that says, just try it again. Maybe it just didn't go through. Just try again. It's Roblin. Hi, Roblin. Hi, Roblin, Facebook. Okay, I have to show that. It's Roblin. So yes, Champion for Writers. support system for producers. That is our main thing. And then the third thing that we focus on is that you are an entrepreneur. We feel very strongly here at Hollywood Gatekeepers that if you are an artist at all, you are an entrepreneur. It's the same mindset, same techniques. It's just nobody identifies it that way. And we've put them together. We think it's very important that you embrace your inner entrepreneurism. Is that a word? So that you can become an even better artist. Both entrepreneurs and artists think on their feet. They both keep trying things. They both have to they're all about persistence. If you're an artist, they are called to it. So it's like they try to get away from it and do other things, but they just can't. Sound familiar as an artist? It's the same as for entrepreneurs. So hello. Yes, thank you, Joy. There's the link. Hi, Elaine. So as we've been showing people how to analyze screenplays, we've come across the conclusion as we've started to build this community, and then we have a course that we teach, and we do these live sessions. We also do live sessions within our course. So we're constantly, left click came back. I don't know who that is. Is that you, Robin? It is a word now. So it is a word now. Thank you. I get that. Entrepreneurism. I think it is a word already. Evan Pagan makes up words all the time. It's actually very geeky and cute. So we discovered as we started showing people how to become readers that readers are far more than readers. Readers are also coaches. Yeah, persistence. Keep trying. Show us your entrepreneurial spirit. You can do it. So they are also coaches. So a lot of readers move into the consulting business where they are helping writers develop their screenplay. Very common path for a reader. To start as a reader, move into development, move into consulting, because as a reader, you read screenplays and you see the same mistakes over and over and over again until pretty soon you're like, oh, if I could just get to that writer before they submit, we could take care of some of these problems that are holding them back. So a reader often becomes a coach. And in today's society, the way kind of the educational system is working, the way things are moving, information, it's the informational age. I mean, 2020 is just like, right, it's moving quickly. Everything's coming online. We have really decided to double down on this idea of readers being coaches and give you skills, talk about the coaching process, talk about what it is to be a coach, and let that be part of what we're training you to do as readers. So not only are they coaches for writers, because you're helping a writer develop that screenplay. So typically a consultant is someone who helps the writer with the script, the screenplay, the story, what's going on, the format, all that. And then the coaching part comes in with helping the writer with the writer, like, getting stuff done, setting their goals, like all of that stuff. So we are teaching both. We teach definitely the nuts and bolts of analyzing the screenplay, but also what does it take to do this business? What does it take to be an entrepreneur, an artist, a writer, director, whatever? So I can see you. Can you see me now? Hi, Marta. Trying to get your name to show. So Robin, now you can help Marta. See, we're paying it forward. So that's how it rolls around here. So, hey, Cher, nice to see you popping on. So, in doing that now, I have really doubled down and started to get I'm being certified by Evan Pagan, my hero. So I'm getting certified in virtual coaching in that program. I'm also in Brooke Castillo's Life Coach School. Now, the Life Coach School, Brooke Castillo, she's like, praise hands. She is amazing. And so she has the Life Coach School podcast. Highly recommend it. And she has developed a thing she calls the model, which is amazing. And we want to share the model with you because we realize that not only is the model, hey, Marcy, really great for people. She does it. Her life coach school is life coaching, right? It's kind of obvious in the title. She's helping people just with life, with relationships and money and, everything. So she's focused on that. So she created the model to handle life. So we think, no, it says, did it work this time, Facebook user? So she has what she has dubbed the model. And so in the model, she takes you through 5 steps so that you have this tool to handle your life. Just like that, simple. So we discovered, though, that you can actually use the model when you write a screenplay. So we're actually going to share with her. She doesn't even know we're doing this, and that's why I always give her credit because her model is phenomenal. So, but we're going to let her know that we have discovered this sort of. She loves it when people use her model in different ways, and kudos to her. So we have discovered that the model, and the more that you can become familiar with the model, use it in your own life, the more instinctively you'll use it as a writer. So cool, huh? I'll share it with you right now. So let me put the link, because she knows the link, right? She knows the link. Here, I got it right here. I got it. It's also in the top of the post. Should be in there. So, but not everybody. And Joy, can you post it as well? Because I know we are live right now on YouTube because we're so fancy, and in the Facebook group. I can only post links to YouTube. So Joy is going to post it for the rest of all y'all. So there you go. There's the link for those of you that are on YouTube. So what the model is basically she breaks down everything. Everything. Did I say it? Everything. She breaks down the whole kit and caboodle of life with the model. Thank you, Joy. It's messed up my hair because I'm such a coiffed kind of person. That's a joke. So someone posts, "You seem like you're on drugs." No, that's just me. Anywho, so the model is a way to handle life. So if you look at this handout, you'll see she breaks it down into 5 things. 5, my lord. She breaks it down into circumstance. Everything is a circumstance. And the key is that circumstances are neutral, right? So, okay, the kind of an easy one to use as an example that we'll use as we work our way through this is a circumstance is, so let's say you got up today and you got a really nasty email from someone and you just like fired back a nasty email back. Okay. And you were like, I had to tell them what's up. I'm not going to take that kind of treatment. I responded. So I took an action. Okay. Let's Wayne and Garth it, rewind, and think about that for a minute. So you got an email. It's just an email. The email itself is neutral. You decided it was nasty. So the next thing after circumstance, and all circumstances are neutral. I mean, one man's hero is another man's villain. One man's war is another man's victory. You know, it's like, it depends on the perspective, right? So many things, and even things that we sort of all agree are true are because we have agreed on the parameters around that true thing. So we all believe that we are of a certain age, but that's because we have all agreed on what our calendar is. If I suddenly said, you know what? My calendar has 24 months in a year, I'd be much younger. So it's like, because we have these rules of society that we agree upon, we have all determined that the A is bad, B is good. So, but ultimately, if you can take a circumstance like an email that comes through and you say, I got an email. It's just a circumstance. And what you're doing is you're slowing your roll from the email to your action. We tend to think that caused that. We tend to think that the action is in the direct response to whatever we perceived, but there's 3 steps in there. So you looked at the email and you had a thought, and that is the key. You had a thought, comes from here, in case you didn't know. You had a thought. So yeah, you can still listen and we can still see you. Just tell me who you are. And then when you make a comment, say who it is and I'll be able to respond to you directly. So you're back, giving up, just listen if this didn't work. So it's, yeah, you're a Facebook user still for me, but it's just for me, like it's whatever. I mean, you can say what your name is if you make a comment. So if you know that your name's not showing and you want me to know who it is, just say who it is. I love that Robin's comments stuck up there. Oh, I'm sorry, Robin, but I should really put the handout up there though. There you go. So when you have a circumstance that happens, you have an instant thought about it. The thoughts are instant, sometimes uncontrollable. And that's the key, is that the thoughts, oh, it's Marta again. Thanks, Marta. So the thought is instantaneous, right? That's a nasty email. But you might have had a thought, and sometimes it might be the second thought, but you might have a thought, oh, that's a nasty email. I wonder if they're okay. You could go there. Doesn't mean that you have to go to their nasty email and they hate me. Like, there's so many ways. Oh, what's going on with them? Oh, maybe they're distressed. Oh, there's so many different ways you could go, right? That thought is key, because what happens with the thought is then that thought creates the next step, which is your feeling. So you see it, you make a thought, you have a judgment on it, and then you feel a certain way. So you see the email, you determine by your thoughts that it's nasty and mean, and then your feeling is anger, as opposed to, oh, that email is really harsh. Are they okay? And then your feeling is concerned. See how quickly your feeling will match whatever you're thinking? So then the next step is an action. We tend to act on our feelings, but we don't even realize. We think that the action is like right after the circumstance, but it's not. You have a thought, you have a feeling, and then you act on that feeling. And then from there, you'll get your result. So if you're not getting the results that you want in your life, you start looking at this pattern, because you can work your way backwards through it too. You can say, wow, I really want to be healthy. I want the result of being healthy. But then if you go, okay, so my action that I took today was I ate an entire pizza and a whole package of Oreos. Well, the action I took was a result of a feeling that I had where I was feeling lonely and upset. And the feeling that I had because of that was the thought that, oh, nobody loves me. Just like that. But you see how it works? So if you have this thought that nobody loves me, and then you feel all sorry for yourself, and so you take an action to feel better by eating a pizza and Oreo, you're not going to really be healthy. So if you have a circumstance in your life that you're not keen on, work your way backwards until you can get to where the key is changing that thought. So then when you go to reach for that pizza or whatever, you can have a thought about, where is this leading me to the ultimate action and result that I want. So that's how you're seriously trying, don't worry about it, Marta. It's totally fine. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. No worries. It's all good. So that, so like, for instance, if you got the email and you have a thought of, oh, something's up, and then you thought, oh, I hope they're okay. And then you have a feeling of concern. The action that you might take is, I see that you're upset. Are you okay? Before you even deal with whatever it is they're complaining about. So that can vastly change your life, because then it's about, you're not just like feelings and thoughts and actions aren't just this willy-nilly thing. You can actually reach in and choose the thought that you want. You can say, even if your first thought is, well, that was rude, you might, because you're aware of what you're thinking, and you think, oh, I just thought that was rude. You can dig a little bit deeper, and then you can start to choose thoughts that will help you kind of form your life. So that's the basic of the model. And I mean, she gets really deep with it, Brooke Castillo, and there's just all kinds of ways. Listen to her podcast. She gives you all kinds of things to think about. She's a really, really smart woman. So you can use it for anything, for life. That's why it's the life coach school, right? Well, now we've discovered you can also apply it to characters. So if you have a character, oh, awesome. So this is what I have in your scripts and how this all works together to create our future, right? So excited. It makes me so excited because it gives you, and not that I'm a control freak or anything, but it gives you control. It gives you control of your life, as more control. Life is always messy, but it makes it so you have this way of putting it together. And then if you can get to where it comes naturally, takes practice like anything, but if you can get to where it comes naturally in your life, you're going to see it in your screenplay so much easier. So a circumstance within a screenplay. Let's shift now and take this model and apply it to your writing, or in a book, whatever you're writing, anything, a song, anything. The circumstance is the inciting incident, basically, in a screenplay. It's the thing that happened. It's the ship hitting the Titanic hitting the iceberg. It's this thing happened. So the ship hits the Titanic hits the iceberg. That's the circumstance. Most would say that's a bad thing. But I was like really going to be Pollyanna there. Like, what are some of the good reasons a ship would hit an iceberg? But it did, like, one of the things that came out of it was that they created a whole new process of how to detect icebergs and all of that. So there's that. But it's probably not a good example to use in this scenario, but it is like this, that's just what happened. Now but here's where it gets interesting, right? So then your characters are going to have a thought based on the circumstance. And then that thought is going to cause them to feel a certain way, and then they're going to make an action. If you can follow the model and create these steps with your characters, they're going to be so much more authentic and genuine. Because when the ship hits the iceberg, all the characters the captain is going to have a much different thought than the crew member who's in the bottom floor, than the rich person who's in the middle of dancing in the ballroom, than the bartender who's trying to make sure that, the things don't spill. Like, they're all going to be all these random thoughts. Because at first, when this first happens, the people in the ship aren't aware of what the problem is, right? So it's going to go through. So what makes a character not seem genuine is when they have an action that's incongruent with their thought. So the thought in a screenplay is basically the subtext of your characters, and you need to be really aware of what they're thinking. Often an actor, especially when you're like doing a live read of a new work or something, they'll say, why am I doing that? Or that doesn't feel right, or that's not my motivation. Or they'll ask the director. Often they'll say to the director, what's my motivation? Typically a director, when an actor asks them that, they'll give them their thought just instinctively. They'll say, well, you're afraid that, or you think that, or, your motivation is to get away from him because you think that he's lying to you, or your motivation is to find the truth because you think, they'll put because you think often. That's what a director will do. And if they're asking that, that means as a writer, you're not giving them clear subtext. So if you have a clear subtext, that's going to give the actor a clue into what feeling they should portray. Even if the line is, even if the line says, I'm leaving you. If the thought behind it, if you can get across that the thought behind it is, please beg me to stay, that line's going to come out really different than if the thought is, I'm leaving you, I think you're going to kill me. You see, you cannot have the word, line could all be the same, but being able to give clues into what the thought is behind the line is going to make it so much more rich and interesting, right? And then if you have a good subtext, it's going to give a clue to the actor what the feeling is, which is going to drive the action that they take. And that's what makes really rich characters. And when characters have chemistry, it's because those thoughts and feelings are aligning underneath it. And if people don't have chemistry, they're not having thoughts and feelings that are in alignment. And so if you can start to use this model in your life, it's difficult at first to use it if you're not familiar with it in a screenplay. So I highly recommend that you use it in your life. It's going to help you anyway. Why not, right? Use it in your life. It's going to help you kind of figure things out. It's going to help you maneuver as a writer, maneuver as being able, if you want a screenplay done, there's a secret that all writers have. It's like a really big secret of how they get their screenplays done. Super big secret. Are you ready? I'm going to reveal, drum roll, the secret behind an Oscar-winning screenplay is they write it. Yes, they do. There you have it. So if you want to write your Oscar-winning screenplay, you have to write. So many people say to me, oh, I want to write a screenplay. I was like, oh, did you write today? Well, whenever someone's head tilts and their voice goes up, that means they're not really going for their thing. Well, and when you say to someone like, well, did you tell them you felt that way? Well, it's always how they react. The story, I'm trying to decide question now. I can wait on it. It's kind of a long story. But yeah, so that's what I was going to say. It's true. I know, shit. They're so good. You crack me up. So there you have it. So if you want to write every day, what is the feeling that you need to have in order to take the action of writing every day? If the feeling is determination, that the feeling is excitement, what is the thought that you need to have to get yourself to feel that way so that you can start writing your flipping screenplay? And so you can go work the way backwards. And then okay, I need to have this thought. Okay, so the circumstances, what can you do to get yourself into that space? Whether it's take a walk, whether it's watch a movie that inspires you, whether it's listen to this podcast, but whether it's joining us here, whatever it might be that helps get you inspired. That's controlling your life then, and that's controlling your result by controlling the thought at the top. So brilliant. It's so brilliant. She's so brilliant. So once you kind of start working this, and the way that you work this is, I know, this is the secret sauce again, is by doing it, is by writing it out. So do what they call a thought download. In the mornings, when you get up in the morning, I had a monster one today, like 10 pages. I'm not joking, like, because I was struggling with something, and I was like, okay. And I started to kind of just journal about it a little bit, kind of get myself going. And then, because I wanted to say, what are the thoughts behind this? Because I do thought journal. And some days I have a hard time coming up with something, but I'll do it anyway, just for the practice of it. So if you have a thought journal and you just download all your thoughts, just get them out of your head. Because if you do that, you will have an even more even-keeled life, because it gets it out on the page. You can even, write it up, throw it away, burn it, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just for you to get all of these thoughts down on the page, and then pick the one that's making you feel icky or making you, it seems like an obstacle, and then work the model. And what will happen is you'll start to see like, oh, that's the thing. Or you can start with the action or the result. If this is something that's bugging you, and that's what I ended up doing today, was like, okay, I need to work my way backwards with this. This is the action that I feel like taking, but I know that's not the action it's not the result that I want. So what is the action I need to take instead? Okay, let's work. What is the thought that's making me not go there? I'm going to here instead. So I was able to kind of work my way backwards and discover the thought that I was having to begin with. And then that way you can at least know. And then sometimes it's a matter of changing the thought, but a lot of the times too, it's not that you want to avoid or buffer, get away from that thought. It's that you need to feel whatever that feeling is. Sometimes it's grief. I lost my father this year, and sometimes that hits me in weird ways. And so it's being able to go, oh, that's what that is. And I had several times over Christmas being like, oh, now it's my first Christmas without parents, which is a really weird feeling. And so being able to kind of go, oh, like work my way through a thought model. I'm being cranky about something that's totally does seemingly unrelated, and realizing, oh, that's really what's at the bottom of it. But it's not like I then go, okay, well, I'm not going to feel that. No, go ahead and cry, work your way through it, breathe, let it be, acknowledge it. Hello, we're okay. And Brooke Castillo also talks about anxiety or fear or whatever. Like you carry around a backpack or a purse or whatever you want to call it, a man bag. And in that apparatus is all of your anxiety, fears, whatever it might be. And some days that thing is really heavy, and some days it's pretty light. You can kind of carry it around, but it's kind of always with you. So just accept, oh, okay, I'm grabbing my bag. Off I go. It doesn't need to stop you. You don't need to be a martyr about it. It doesn't need to take you to your knees. Sometimes it might, and then you get back up again. But being able to really kind of carry that with you and then work the model. Then when you go to write your screenplay, all of these tools are just going to be so rich inside of you as a writer that they're just pour out on the page. It's really, really, really cool. Yeah, it is. It is weird. Thanks for that. Totally appreciate that. And finish your story and scream. Please like me. Please like me. That's fine too. It's all good. It's all good. So I hope that makes sense. And I hope this is a tool that you can use, because I really think that then, so now let's move forward. And for those of you that are becoming readers, you have a writer and you can see instantly now when you read screenplays, you'll be able to see when their characters aren't authentic. And now you have a tool that you can give to a writer and say, hey, practice this in your life and get this to where if their characters are really on the nose, if their subtext is not present, if a character keeps doing things that they just wouldn't do, and you see this all the time, especially with young writers, where it's like, no way, that person would never respond that way. The reason the character is responding that way is because there's nothing between the circumstance and the action. They're just taking the action, and which can work if we call it out for that. So if someone behaves incongruently, someone else needs to say like, what the heck? Why are you doing that? Then it can become interesting. But in general, kind of troubled writing that needs help is that these steps are missing and characters are behaving incongruently and they don't have chemistry with each other because there's no thought behind what they're saying. So that's what we have for today. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope you can now take this, use it in your life. Awesome. Thank you, Marta, for telling me it's you too. Yep, affirming the emotional work you did this past week. I love that, because just then you can get up again, right? So, and being able to work this model and really do the thought download is such a great thing to do all the time. Your writing skills will improve as well, because you'll just start to write more. And I do it with a pen and a journal. Sometimes I'll do it on an iPad, whatever, floats your boat, doesn't really matter. But I really think it can be the thing that can move you to the next level. And then you can write better screenplays, and you can help writers write better screenplays as readers. And also when often a producer becomes a producer of the project because they have more of a financial background, or they're organizational, or they're not so much a writer. And we've had people come through the course that are producers that have said, oh, this is so great because you're giving me the tools I need to be able to talk to a writer and say, this is what I need from the story. So they understand the story and they understand what they want, and they instinctively know when things aren't genuine and real, but they're not exactly sure, because they're not writers, how to get at it. So often they'll just say, it's just not working, which is not very helpful for a writer, because you need a little more than that. But they'll say, I'm just not believing it, or it's just not working, or it's just not right. All of those kind of vague comments, but a reader can then step in and go, here's the problem, go use this model, Let's get some authentic things going here. And so that will give you a tool that you can use as a coach. And you can say to the producer, here's why it doesn't work. And here's what we can do about it. So you're that middleman because the producer is like so overwhelmed with so much that they're trying to do, that having someone they can rely on that will take the it's just not right and turn it into because there's no subtext here. I mean, that's what will get you work. That's where the gold is. It's awesome. So hope this all works. Love it. You guys are awesome. And we will be back next Wednesday. And we're going to do another one of our vision planning things that we did because that was fun. We had so much fun with that. We're going to do one that's focused on money. And I scheduled it. I think it's January 31st, but just keep your eye out. We will let you know. And the masterclass is coming back very soon. It's very exciting. So we will see all you screen readers mañana, and we'll see all you gatekeepers a week from tonight. Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Me too. Thanks, Sharon. So good to see you guys. And we will see you next week. Yay. You guys are the best. You make me so happy.